You are live. I forgot my water bottle, damn it. I forgot my water bottle. How's everything sound, everyone? Sounds good on my end. I'm not sure about you guys. Hello, 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 hello. Testing, testing, testing. That's a little better. That's a little better. I feel a little red tones up in here. Huh. Huh. Wonder if I want some lighting on or something. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. Not too stressed about it. How am I coming in for y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, we got some. Let's see. We got one YouTube viewer, 32 Facebook viewers, no one on LinkedIn at the moment. Good morning, y'all. Thanks, Jess. How you been, bro? I am exhausted. I was gonna go back to sleep, but it kind of defeats the purpose. You wake up early and then go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, little reddish tones, right? I got that blue here because that's like that little cool light. That's what you do for social media. That's the social media light that everyone loves. I'm wondering if I turn the other light on my face. Let's try something real quick. Ooh, a little harsh. All right, we're gonna run with that. Been in Hollywood too long, man. I'm worried about how I look. Good morning. Hey, I'm going on vacation for a couple days. Once I'm done with vacation, um, then I will be uh, opening up a mentorship program. Don't worry, it's not like all the other mentorship programs. Mine's not going to be astronomical cost because that doesn't make sense, in my opinion. And as well, I'm not here to coach people in life. I just want to mentor them through some of their little hardships. So look out for that. Um, so that's really what I wanted to talk about for a little bit. I am making a tiered system on how much time I'll be spending with doing Zoom calls with a group. If you go and look at any of these coaching groups, they charge a ton. I'm not coaching. I just want to mentor. I want to be able to create a time frame where I can sit on a computer and actually answer questions or answer or kind of like dig deep into whatever's going on and explain to you in my life how I've kind of pivoted in certain directions and how I have been able to kind of find more success than what I would have done if I continued down a path of being a dumbass. Plain and simple. So I'll be opening it up soon. You can go to better.com and find it once it's there. Um, it's interesting. There's a lot of people that reach out to me for mentorship, and I don't really have the time to do it all the time. So I'm kind of allotting a certain amount of time. Like I said, it's not going to be a lot of money. It's just going to be enough that, hey, if you're going to be paying, then you'll be paying attention to what they say. You pay to pay attention, and as well as kind of getting paid for my time of just kind of designating that for you guys. So it's not for men or women. It's for anyone. It's not for veterans only. It's for just anyone who's kind of hit a wall. Hit a wall in life and looking for what that next step might be, or how to get through some insecurities, or how to find success in film and television, or struggles with relationships. And what I'm going to be providing essentially is just kind of step-by-step methods on how I've been able to kind of keep things on the tracks, if you will. And so really, there's here's how I thought of it, man. I want to do like a tiered system. So like just like your beginner level, you'll get, 2 Zooms a month in a group, and we'll go over some specific things that I kind of like to talk about. Usually when I'm talking with veterans and they're trying to get their lives back on track, there's kind of a list of things that I like to approach first. Like, let's knock these out first. Let's get these in good standing order. And then from there, we can move forward into finding out what that direction is. So I'll be focusing a lot on that. And then as someone wants to go deeper into the program or deeper one-on-ones, well, then we can really hit their specific need. And since I have a ton of resources, I'm able to kind of like connect dots for people as well. And so that's kind of the goal. The goal is to like I see a lot of these life coaches, and I do this because I think it's a very odd field, a very odd space, and it's something that I've watched for a long time, and I didn't want to be a part of it, but I also feel um, I'm not doing my part as in being a good leader for the community by not doing anything about it, and so I'm creating an alternative to that. Um, what they do is what they do. It works for a lot of people. It doesn't work for some. I don't know. I've never been a part of any of those groups. But what I want to do is at least have a place for the average person who wants to kind of maybe, like I said, knock down some of those walls that we put up for ourselves. And if I can be of assistance with my time and kind of mentoring you through those blocks, I'm down. I'm willing to do that. And so it's kind of a it's kind of the counterattack to all these life coaches out there that they're doing their thing. Good for them. But I find it's a very interesting space. And we're in a very interesting time. We're like, let's be honest, we're in a very interesting time that a lot of people are looking for leadership, right? People are thirsty for guidance, and the people that usually take charge in those times, it's not someone who has this massive amount of experience in life, right? I have so many buddies from the military that are like, I call them, right? I call them like, dude, like, you know what I mean? Because those guys are the wealth of knowledge, right? To me, the wealth of knowledge is valuable. I want to know from your experiences and how did you do this? And a part of that is also learning on your own, right? Like falling flat on your face and figuring it out, right? Like doing the work. And even that means is going through hardship, like facing hardship straight on and then continuing to move forward. And so for me, I'm like, man, I can't sit here and watch these guys do this life coaching when I know their backgrounds, and I'm like, I don't find their background to be that challenging in the sense where like they've gained all this experience, right? Back in the day, we would go to the native culture used to go to the wise men, right? The old medicine men, or the old men of the tribe who had a wealth of knowledge through experience, through hardships. It wasn't long ago when our grandfathers were the ones who mentored us and taught us how to be a man, or explained to us, how to grow up with morals and values and dignity, right? And in recent years, fathers, right? Fathers taken up that position. My father worked a ton, but when he wasn't working, he wasn't necessarily this mentor, right? My dad wasn't the guy that would sit there and talk with me. My dad mentored by example, right? What he did daily was enough for me to watch and be like, man, this dude works his butt off for the family. And so, soaking all that in, right? Soaking all that information in and saying, well, what for my kids, I'm more of a mentor. As much as I work hard, I'm also there trying to engage with them and communicate that, and as well as like teach them that. So, like for example, my 13-year-old son, right? School, girls, life, all that. We're doing trick or treating last night, and one of the girls from the school goes, "Hey, Holden," and his initial reaction was like, and that wasn't out of anything other than embarrassment, right? Teenage embarrassment, like, oh crap, this girl just kind of did the "Hey, Holden" thing in front of my parents, which is kind of awkward. And so he made this awkward face, and I stopped him. I said, "Hey, do me a favor, don't do that. Go say hi back. Do it appropriately. Don't be awkward. Don't be weird. Don't be uncomfortable. It's natural. She's allowed to say hi to you in front of your parents, and it's not a weird thing." But for a young teenage boy who's kind of coming of age, who's starting to go through the whole cycle of becoming a man and understanding women and communicating back and forth, it was an uncomfortable moment for him. And so later we talked about it, and it wasn't even I was mad. I was just like, "Hey, bro, first of all, we didn't raise you to be a rude person, so like that awkwardness came off as a little bit of rude." So I apologized to the girls with him right there. I said, "Hey, ladies, I apologize. He's being a little silly right now. Hold on, please say hi correctly, right?" And so in that conversation later on, I was like, "Hey, dude, it's all good, man. It's all good to say hi to them. It's all good. They're going to say hi to you." But the awkwardness that you showed made them a little uncomfortable. Like, "Oh, is that weird?" And it wasn't weird. It was a normal dialogue of like, "Hey, Holden, how you doing?" And I wanted him to receive that message and go right back and say, "Good, how you doing? Well, be safe out there." Whatever the case, right? Just be a gentleman about it. And so my father wouldn't have had that conversation. I don't know if it was just a whole different world, right? The way he was raised by his dad wasn't a mentor either. So my dad was a leader by example, and I try to be a leader by example, but as well as I try to be a leader with experience. And so I kind of came into like, bro, it's all good. And so, trying to continue on with my kids like that, but I also, me and my wife, another example, my son, my 2-year-old swallowed a bead, right? Like, oh crap, right? And then it was like 6 months prior. Some lady told us a story about a kid who swallowed a penny and had to get surgery. 6 months later, it got stuck in his intestines. Like, I was like, oh my God. So we were like, now we're terrified. We had this message in our head of a kid swallowing a penny, and like now forever, I'm like, keep change away, put it high, get it away. And then last night, during the whole chaos of Halloween, my little baby son, one of the kids got a paddle at school, like a paddle and ball, and the end of it was a bead. I don't know why the knuckle I put it in his dang mouth, and boom, it shot right down his throat. And he goes, "Papa, I ate it." And I was like, no. I was like, "No, dude, like literally, what happened to it?" He goes, "I ate it." And I was like, "Damn," right? And so panic sets in for a second, and then I start thinking like, okay, it's not metal, it was plastic. It should go right through the digestive tract. Whatever, he should be pooping this thing out, right? But mom remembers the story we heard 6 months ago, and mom gets a little nervous, and she's like, "How are you so calm about it?" I was like, "Well, I don't know if I'm calm. I'm just kind of like." I started Googling, right? I said Googling, and all the answers on there. So like, don't worry about it, it's going to pass. But the way mom handled that was a little more panic. And the fact that I was so calm about it, it kind of bothered her. And it's like, that became like a communication moment. Like, hey, if you're uncomfortable, if you're nervous, let's go. Like, I support you on however you feel. We can go to the hospital. We can do the x-ray. We can go do this long journey of spending hours at a hospital and then saying like, oh, don't even worry about it, he's going to pass it. But if that's what you needed to be calm and comfortable about it, it's all good. And so like there's things that I deal with daily that I've managed and understand, and I try and have good communication with. And when I jack it up, dude, like I learned from that too. And so this whole story, I know, glad he didn't choke, right? Oh God. This whole story is interesting, right? And so my goal in trying to set up this kind of like coaching program. It's not even coaching program. I hate that word. Mentorship is like be able to hopefully mentor others through my life experiences and kind of give different perspectives that might help people, one, get over those blocks, like I said, and two, find happiness or comfort in their lives. And so I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Information I use. Yeah, I know. Like I Googled it so many times. I had the answer that he's going to pass it. So I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, it's a little scary. Whatever. Yeah. So be looking out for that. I think probably in 2 weeks I'll have it up and running. I got to write a few things and kind of explain what's going on. But yeah, so you guys have a husband that might be interested in it, a son that might be interested in it. It's gonna kind of like I'm still kind of figuring out how exactly I want to establish this, but like I said, it won't be expensive. Something like $20 a month. And that's enough for you to say, "Hey, I'm committed. I'm paying $20 a month. I don't want to just let that go to waste." And then you show up to the meetings and we talk and we hash out some things. And there's a text message thing I'm getting set up. There's an email thing I'm getting set up. There's my book that kind of is kind of like a guiding example of some of the stuff that I've learned throughout my life and how I've been able to kind of pull the perspective out of that and be like, okay, shift gears here. And yeah, man, I think it's pretty important. Like, so we were talking the other day about veterans and suicide and people focusing too much on that concept and then stripping that back further all the way down to the foundation of like, well, why do people choose those decisions? I think this is like life. Why do we all choose what we do? Like, what's the root of all of it, right? Like people drinking, like, oh, I just drink because it makes me feel good, right? I drink because it's fun. Well, the root of it, like we got to go down to the root of all of that, right? And say why, like why. And so that to me is like the important thing is really getting down to the why you do things. Like why don't you go to the gym more often, or why aren't you involved more in your kids' lives, or why is your relationship not doing so well, right? And getting down to the root of all of those answers, I think is going to be very revealing. And that's in that sense is once we know and we actually can accept that we are kind of at the forefront of our bad decisions as well as our good ones, then we can start adjusting fire and finding ways of getting success. I got to posture up, and my posture's bad. It's hurting my back. I got to get a better chair. Ugh. And so like that, like so when I was talking about writing, about drinking, people always like, oh, it just makes you feel good or it gets rid of the stress. It actually doesn't, but that's what it makes you feel like. That's the drug of it. And so that's why a lot of people like they love to drink and they've been taught to drink and they've been manipulated thinking like this is the way, and they will never change their mind on that until something dramatic happens. And I would love for people to sit back and be like, maybe I'm wrong. And the answer of like anything you do in life and says this is how it's always been done, it's probably the wrong answer, right? And there's probably some dissecting that needs to happen there. And so that's just my opinion on that. And that's good. That can go for everything. That doesn't just go for drinking. That goes for relationships. If you have a bad relationship over and over and over again, well, like, it's that same cycle. Like someone's making bad choices, right? Financially, if you're always in a bad place financially, well, there's somewhere there that's messed up, right? If you haven't found a career field that you're happy with, there's something there. So dissecting all of that, right? Parenting, like I have grown as a parent from my 20-year-old who's in college right now to a 1-year-old is my youngest. And that is 20-year gap of parenting and experience that like, oh, I've completely screwed things up and I've completely adjusted fire on a lot of things. And there's some things that I hold strong. I still, from day one till now, this is a good example. From day one, my 20-year-old to my 1-year-old, I will always expect manners. Always. There's nothing changed. Like life perspective, hardships, everything in the root of it all. Okay, at least this is right. Have manners, right? And so my oldest daughter will still say yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It's just something that we've ingrained because I find that to be a very fundamental, important value that will continue to help them throughout life, through job interviews, through whatever the case. But having this position of like, I will show you respect until you don't deserve that respect. Now, there's other things like discipline. How I discipline kids has completely changed from 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago, it was cool to just spank kids, right? It was like, yeah, you straighten them out. Now, it's this really intricate space of, I think my kids know that I could take it to that level. I just haven't, right? I can't say that there isn't there's probably a situation that would escalate to that. Like if my son ever put hands on my wife, I'd probably put hands on him in a controlled manner, de-escalate the situation. My point is they know that there's probably a moment that it can, but I don't raise them like that anymore because I was wrong. I was a damn kid raising a kid, and I thought this is how you do it. So as I said, I've evolved as a man. I've evolved as a father. I've evolved as a husband. I've evolved as a veteran, right? I've evolved as a human in this world that we are all trying to live and understand this human experience. And when I say that is like, I spoke to a group of 13-year-olds, 12, 13, 14-year-olds at a junior high school thing. And I said to them something, and it was the biggest thing that resonated with them more than anything was that we're all human. I think they tripped out. They kind of looked at me like, oh, I saw their eyes all light up. I said, we are all going through the human experience together. Whether you like it or not, we all wake up and we have to experience what we have in front of us. And what they were probably too young to acknowledge, and what I have grown to realize, is that everyone has their own issues. Everyone is fighting their own battle daily, whether it be families getting a divorce, whether it be the family struggling financially, whether it be an addict in the family that everyone has to deal with, whether it be their own insecurities, whether it be their own struggles with their own sexuality, whether it be struggles with trying to conform or fit in with a group, whatever that battle is, everyone has a battle they're fighting. I don't care who you are, every day. I know what my battle is daily. I know what my wife's battle is probably daily. And she might have a battle that I don't know that she's not comfortable telling me yet, right? Or my kids or my parents, right? Everyone is fighting something. And it could be internal. It could be completely internal. It could be depression. It could be post-traumatic stress. It could be insecurities, right? I battle a lot of insecurities. You probably wouldn't know it, but I deal with a ton of insecurities in my head. A lot of things. At the same time so is the person to the left and the right of me. And so I told them that. I tell these guys, like, trust me, everyone in this class is going through something. They're not necessarily going to tell you, but I promise you they're going through something. And which makes that relatable. That makes something like we're all connected. We're all connected by this life experience, right? This human experience of existence. We are connected. We're going through shit. And that one thing I would say is make sure you're treating people with kindness. Treat them good because you don't know what the battle they're dealing with, right? You don't know that fight that they're having within themselves, within their world, right? It's like bullies come to school to bully younger kids because most likely they're being bullied at home. And it's the only way they project that negativity into someone else, right? They just don't feel good about life for whatever reason. And some kids just need to be disciplined, right? And so it's this really interesting thing. I always tell my son, don't understand that the bully didn't learn that by himself. The bully learned that from somewhere. Most likely it's his upbringing. And most likely his upbringing is not so solid. So he's coming here and projecting a lot of that negativity onto you. You either have to handle that on your own. If they ever engage on you, you take care of that. Or if they're trying to engage on someone weaker than that's a friend of you, then you step up, right? But at some point, they will be dealt with it as well. Whatever we hold in here, whatever we manifest in here, whatever we keep, hurt people, hurt people. I love that saying. That saying like trips me out, right? And so my point is that like be good to people, but as well as knowing that we're all struggling with something, let's not project that struggle onto other people, right? Let's not be violent to others because you're violent within yourself. Like let's not hold this animosity and this anger inside so much that you're projecting that onto your kids, onto your significant other, onto the people on social media, whatever it is. There's a lot of pain in a lot of us. And we need to learn how to manage that pain and find healing for that pain. Any kind of wellness you can think of, whether it's the gym, yoga, I don't give a damn, Sam's, get the peanut butter jelly and jam, man. You find a way to subside a lot of that pain through healing so that we're not turning around and projecting that onto others. And so that's exactly what we were telling these kids. And I hope that some of them took these messages and learn something from that. I hope you guys were able to learn something from that. But again, like I said, in a few weeks, I'll be opening up a mentorship group. Obviously, there's going to be a cost to it, but it's going to be, I couldn't bring it upon myself to charge what all these other dudes charge. One, because I don't feel right by that. But two, I had to put a price tag on it because if I didn't, my time is valuable. My family's time is valuable. And I felt like I would be doing them a disservice by saying my time is free because anytime I take away from them, it's not fair, right? I need to be compensated somehow. And so I'm going to be doing it like the cheapest I possibly could that I felt was fair for everyone involved because most of the people that are probably going to need the mentorship don't have an extra $200 a month to just drop on dudes, right? Don't have an extra $300 a month to just spend on someone to help them figure out their answers. And the truth is the answers are out there, man. If you just want someone to help you find that, I mean, shit, I'm down. I'll be that baby daddy. But I definitely want to help you guys if I can through my own life experiences without having an ego, without breaking the bank, just making it fair enough that we can sit there on a Zoom and dissect all the issues and try and find ways of finding success. Because I believe that it's important to try and leave this world better than we found it, right? And if you're not doing that, then I feel sorry because I think we should all be trying to make this place a better place. You know what I'm saying? Just my opinions. I'll get it all set up here soon. And when I do, I'll let you guys know. You guys will be the first ones to know. And that's about it. You guys go check out Betterin.com. It is up and running. And go check out some of my sponsors, Core Medical Group. That's about hormone replacement therapy for you men and women. If you guys have questions about that, that has helped me tremendously. GMR Gold and Bouillon Box. I still use them because I just enjoy opening up gold and silver. Several others. We got man, what is I have a sponsor that's my buddy. It's such a cool little school. A very cool school. Modern Gun School. There is Modern Gun School. Is a online at your own pace, learning how to be in gun armor, and as well as they have a writing program as well now. So I'm trying to get involved in that writing program here soon. But either way, let's go ahead and click this right here. Any questions before I jump out of here? Yeah, the Modern Gun School will take your GI Bill, so you can use that if you're not doing anything with it. You know what I'm saying? Go hit them up. Learn how to be an armor. Learn how to understand. Uh, you know. Yeah, I'll do a group. Don't worry. There's gonna be a private group. They're gonna do all that. Oh, I did something wrong. Sorry. I think I just deleted all the comments. There it is. I'm gonna be uploading some more blogs on better.com as well. You know. You guys have a good day. All right, have a good morning. Hopefully, this podcast in the morning helps you a little bit, puts things in perspective. We'll catch you on the flip side.